Okay, so we're going to try this angle, I guess. Something's going on with the formatting of my dash camera. The SD card doesn't want to work. I don't know what's going on with that, but welcome back to my channel. Off on another adventure. This is going to hopefully be a two-parter. We're going to be doing some rail fanning, cross fingers, of the Trona Railway, Lone Pine Sub. And we're also going to be doing some hiking and studying of geology in the Trona Pinnacles. We're just on the outside of Ridgecrest. GPS says we're going to be getting to the destination in about 33 minutes. I would have been there sooner if I didn't waste my time walking all the way to the Enterprise. Turns out they don't rent out SUVs to people that are under 25. You know, I get the safety policy or whatever, but I guess it's my fault for not having done my research ahead of time. So I walked about a mile and a half. It wasn't a lot, but it was still a waste of time. What I've read online is that the road to the Trona Pinnacles, at least in summer, is a decent road and can be driven with any vehicle. Now, obviously, you guys have seen my videos before. I have a Honda Fit. The problem is we're not going in the summer. We're going just after there's been a big series of storms. So my concern is I might not even be able to make it all the way in, and I'm going to have to turn back. I don't want to take the chance of popping a tire and getting stuck out there. So, we'll see what happens. Cross fingers, the road conditions are fine. I could deal with a bit of washboard. The off-roading part of the trail is about 5 miles. So, here we go. Okay, so we're just about to get to the Trona Pinnacle entrance here, 1,000 feet. Let me see if I can stick my phone in the... Got another angle. Okay, here we go. 5 miles. If it stays like this, that won't be terrible. We'll be able to make it. It's going to be a long, slow drive, though. Total distance is only 5 miles, but then again, I only have a Honda Fit, so I have to be careful. Okay, so far we're doing okay. I'm a little concerned about this. I think I'm gonna have to kind of speed through this part. Okay, cool. Made it that far. We have a nice little consist of cement hoppers here. Looks like the railroad crossing is over there, so I'm gonna go take some pictures of that. Probably on the way back. And I can actually see the pinnacles off in the distance. And that's actually, ooh, a really pretty shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull over real quick. And I'll bring you guys with me for a moment. I'm trying to stay conscious of the fact that this thing, I turn my head really fast, so trying to bear that in mind. They've got some really nice color right now because of the sunset, the angle. This is with the wide, so I know I'm not going to get a fantastic shot with this one, but we'll let's see, we'll work with it. Trying to get the focus just right here. That looks about right. Okay, so I got a new camera. It's a Sony Alpha A7R2 that I'm hoping to use for some astrophotography while I'm out here. I still have the Canon, Still have the 1 to 400 millimeter on it too. Having both cameras is going to give me a lot of options, so. So I'm going to put on the lens hood here. Okay, well, I don't need the timer for that, so we'll do single shooting here. You know, it's when you're in a place like this that you realize just how noisy cars are. I mean, I have a Honda. It's not even that noisy a car. And yet, it is rather obnoxious. Alright, let's try for something like this. So I'm going to have to, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and turn the engine off. I'm going to let you guys go for a bit because I want to preserve power on this. But, yeah, I'll catch you guys in just a moment. Okay, so I just took a couple of photos. I found that the road is a little less washboard if I'm over here towards the edge. And of course, I think it's inevitable that I'm going to be dealing with some of this, but so far, this isn't impassable to my car. Something I'm trying to keep an eye out for is the Trona locomotives, the old tunnel motors from Southern Pacific, and the SD40s from the Union Pacific. I don't see anything moving down the line at the moment, but we'll see. It's a decent sized puddle there, so we're going to go ahead and skirt around that. Easy peasy. Hopefully we're able to get to the actual pinnacles in time. Because right now, the colors are really pretty. The way the shadows are falling on them is gorgeous. But at the speed that we're going, it might be another 20 minutes to half an hour before we actually get there. So, we'll see. Talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, so the road is starting to get a little more questionable. There's starting to be a lot more sharp rocks everywhere. So progress is even slower now. I still have plenty of clearance. But, you know, it's making me a little nervous. I can't really judge distance very well. I know that some of the taller of the pinnacles are up to 140 feet tall, so they might look on camera like they're not that far away, but in reality that's probably still another 3 or 4 miles. Okay, got flat here again. I'm not sure what the white layering here is. I don't know if that's borax, which I know is one of the big components that's mined from here. This area is Searles Lake. Obviously now it's largely dry. Back during the Ice Ages, this was in a chain of lakes that went all the way from Owens, which is also dry, down to Death Valley. Back then, or the name that was assigned to it is Lake Manly. In essence, one lake would overflow, spilling into the next and into the next. Crowley, south of Mono Lake, would overflow into Owens, which would then overflow eventually into Searles Lake here, which would in turn eventually overflow into Death Valley. And there the water would evaporate, given that Death Valley would be the lowest point. As the water evaporated, all the minerals got left behind. leaving these deposits. Death Valley is, of course, known for the salt flats. Searles is mined for potash, borax, and I know that there's several other minerals that they mine from here, but those are the two that come to mind. The pinnacles themselves are actually a result of the old lake. They formed when, I believe, springs with calcium-rich water interacted with the very salty and, I would have to assume, very alkaline lake water. This would cause a reaction that would cause the calcium to evaporate out of the water solution and mineralize into what's known as tufa. And so over time, the mineral springs would continuously deposit this mineral, building up and up and up. Mono Lake is really famous for their tufa towers, and Searles, of course, the Trona Pinnacles are of similar origin. The difference being that, at least as far as I know, the towers here are much taller than the ones that are at Mono Lake. I want to say that at Mono Lake, the tallest are around 65 feet. Here they can be up to about 140 feet tall. So they are very spectacular formations. Another thing, due to the fact that they only form when the calcium-rich water is in contact with the alkaline water of the salt lake, they can only form as long as they're underwater. So it actually gives an idea of how deep Searles Lake used to actually be. Okay, gotta focus here. Make sure I don't high center myself. Okay, almost did there, I think. Made it through. This is gonna be interesting coming back out since I'm gonna be doing this in the dark. Yes, if you take an aerial view, and even from the ground, you can notice that a lot of the tufa formations are in a linear fashion. This is because the water would have been springing through fault lines that have formed in this region. Searles Lake, like Panamint Valley and Death Valley, and much of the southwestern United States, is part of the Basin and Range. In essence, western North America is inflating upwards and stretching, and the stretching causes mountain formation as well as fault blocks to slip, causing valleys. I see some lights over on the distance. I don't think those are trains. I think that's another car that's coming down the way. I'm going to grab my binoculars real quick because I wouldn't want to miss that. If it is a train, I want to be ready for it. Whoa, these things are really out of focus. Yeah, that's a car. That's just light reflecting off the back of a car. Okay. But yes, so Searles Valley is just one of those fault blocks that slipped as the crust expands. That also explains why there's so much volcanics in the area. Lots of lava flows, old cinder cones. The Coso volcanic field, for example, is not that far from here. Okay, all right. We're gonna have to be cautious here. I might stop, actually, because this looks sandy, and don't know how far I'm going to be able to get. I don't really need to walk that far. Okay, I don't want to risk it. I guess I'm going to walk the rest of the way. And raise the windows, make sure nothing gets stolen. Although I doubt anyone will want to do something like that out here. I guess we're just gonna have to walk the rest of the way. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. So, according to the map, it's still about another 3.5 miles until I get to the Pinnacles. And I'm not exactly the most physically apt person yet. Hiking is only a hobby I barely started to do, and I start getting tired after about 3 miles total. hear something. I just want to make sure it's not the tunnel motors making their way over. That actually might be them. So I'm gonna have to set the camera up most likely. But what I was gonna say is, especially in the dark, it's gonna be a long way to walk. And it's not gonna be lost. I just know I'm gonna be very, very fucking tired. So I'm looking at the condition, and at least the part that I was concerned about doesn't seem too bad. The irony was, getting off of the road, I almost did get stuck. So, you know what? I think I see the tunnel motors. Okay. So, I'm going to drive back. And I'm going to try to catch them. Actually, you know what? The smarter thing would probably be to just set the camera up here. So, I'm going to be right back. So, of course, the funny thing is I was expecting the Trona train to come at some point. But, almost missed it. Alright, so what I was going to say is, I'm not the most physically apt person in the world. I don't want to hike 3.5 miles in the dark. And as long as I'm careful, I think I should be able to make it. If not, I've got to hope that some good Samaritan is going to tow me out. We're going to see how it works. I'm going to just try to stay in the ruts. I'm going to try to keep my speed up. Definitely sliding all over the place. I can see the steering assist light come on every once in a while. Oh, okay, cool. So we get past that, and then we go back on the gravel, which of course is a lot more secure. And I don't mind taking my time here, so it just seems like it's that patch. We've already advanced a little bit at least. Good news, good news. Okay. Well, here we go. I'll record this last little bit, I guess. Keep you guys having an idea of what the final 3 miles are like. Another thing is, I wanted to be here in time for sunset, and that's in about an hour. If I was walking fast, I might have been able to make it in time, but I would have probably been exhausted, and by the time I set everything up, I would have missed the shots. So we've already advanced quite a bit. I think the worst is over. Should be largely smooth sailing from here. And I just know once I get to that part on the way back, I just have to kind of speed my way through, and we'll be okay. Okay. This might be the limit of where I go, because here it's starting to get sharp. And I don't want to risk popping a tire. So we're gonna back up. And we're just gonna try to move to the side of the road, not get stuck. Ideally. Right there, that looks like it's pretty solid gravel. Ooh, don't want to get stuck, like I said. Gotta pay attention. Okay. I think I advanced a little bit more. Enough to, I think, make it worth the walk. So, I'll see you guys in a bit. I have to guess that there's maybe another, maybe 30 minutes before the sun goes down. So, it looks like there's some informational signs up there. I might set up my camera and take some photos of the sunset from here, and then continue to walk. It's I want to say it's a waxing gibbous moon tonight, so I'm not expecting to be entirely walking in the dark. I guess I was only able to advance about 1.5 miles. It's still about, from the car, about 2 miles, which, again, that doesn't sound like as much of a difference, but to me, 4 miles total sounds like a lot more of a pleasant walk than 6. And I'm sure there's some people out there that probably think 6 miles is a breeze. I'm not at that condition yet. But, you know, stuff like this is going to help me get to practice, work my way there. Would you look at that? Spectacular. Alright. Let's see what these signs have to say. This would have been a good view of the tunnel motors, but I wouldn't have made it up here. I think what we got was as good as we were going to get. See that road down there? I guess it's this one. Looks a lot more manageable, but oh well. Okay. So obviously it's the Trona Railway. I think I left. I brought some 2 books on geology. I thought I was planning to use as a reference, and I left them in the car. And the car is right there, but I don't want to add an extra bit of a walk, especially back uphill. So we're just gonna have to leave it there. Okay. I'm gonna take some pictures of these so you guys can read them. Alright. You've almost made it. Of course, like with everything else, it's always really difficult to comprehend actually how massive these things are. Like with anything, you know, you see the picture of Yosemite Valley, you can't really comprehend exactly how massive that valley is, and the same thing with the view from Dante's View of Death Valley. I've seen plenty of pictures, and of course I know the size. Again, some of these tallest ones are over 100 feet tall. Some of them can be over 300 feet wide. But actually being able to stand here and with your own eyes actually appreciate just how massive they are, it's something else. I wish I was a poet so I could come up with some better language to describe the scale of this. I can only use massive so many times. Awe-inspiring, I suppose, would be another word for it. It's a beautiful color going on right now. I think I'm gonna break out the 18 to 35 millimeter. Take a quick shot, make sure there's not a car coming behind me. There's a car up there. I guess I can just walk over here. Another thing I have is very little patience. So I actually wonder if I'm going to be even able to have the patience to stay here long enough to take some good astrophotography. Now, I drove 3.5 hours to get here. You'd think that would be enough to convince me to stay. And a normal person would. But I'm not a normal person. So, I know the professional shoot manual, but I'm a beginner. What can I say? And you might ask, well, I'm a beginner. What was the point of getting a professional camera like the A7 R3? I mean, the R2. Well, I have a really bad habit of spending when I really shouldn't. So, this is an example of that. Something else that I find rather frustrating is this tower isn't exactly the most steady. You can see how much fluctuation there is there. I have no idea what that's about. I've tightened this as much as I'm pretty sure I could, and it still has quite a bit of wobble. Okay. I'm going to cut it a little bit, and there's some of the smaller features are kind of distracting from the center. I'm going to try a shot here with the 100 to 400. Look at all that wobble. The only thing I can think of is it's not screwed on tight enough or something. I don't know. Okay, that's a little bit better, I guess. I've got to readjust this. I think that's a good shot. You're kind of like centered with one of the towers right there. I don't know how good the focus is on that, so we're gonna right there. We're gonna turn over here. Focused. There we go. I'm gonna shoot another with a wide angle. sun's starting to go down. It's just hit the edge right now. I guess we'll watch that. Actually, I should probably be quick. I might be able to shoot the shadow climbing up the pinnacles here in the wide angle. It's getting dark very quickly. 1835. We're getting some really pretty purples on these ones right now. I'm going to have a wealth of options when it comes to shooting once the stars are out. Hopefully it doesn't get too cold too quickly, and hopefully it doesn't get very windy. Right now there's a very, very slight breeze. Yeah, we'll see. I should have gotten AAA batteries. I was intending to shoot a time lapse, and I needed AAAs for the intervalometer to go with the Sony. And that was going to be something I was going to pick up today on my way here. And, of course, I knew I was going to forget at least one thing, and that's what I forgot. Not the most important thing in the world, but it would have been nice. I'm going to be coming back here Monday. It's Thursday right now, so in only a couple of days. I have a Celestron power bank that's supposed to power my telescope that I can use to power the camera, since shooting RAW in a time lapse, that's a lot of photos. I imagine I'll probably draw a lot of power. Might not be long enough for even 30 seconds of time lapse. With the power bank, I should be able to get an hour or two, which would allow me to shoot, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, which will be enough for a nice cinematic video. Just want to appreciate the view real quick. I just put the camera away and I've got more stuff to photograph, so I'm bringing out the phone now. I just wish this camera shot at a better resolution than this. .108 megapixel camera, but it doesn't really look like it. And of course, how could it? The sensor is very tiny. Okay. And just like that, the pinnacles are in darkness. I think I'm gonna try to climb through those. I don't know which is the fastest way. I suppose these are all cow routes. I'm probably gonna just walk across, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It is starting to get chilly. I have some gloves, and this shirt has this sweatshirt has a hoodie over it, so I should be okay. I forgot the dew heater, which is something else that's in the car. Oh well. We'll see how long I can hold out for. Okay, so I was going to use my phone for time lapse, but then I realized my DJI has that capability as well. So I've set it up in my backpack behind me. I kind of screwed myself. Oh, look at that. It's someone right there. I kind of screwed myself. I started the time lapse before I took my digital camera out, the Sony, so it's kind of trapped in the backpack now. Again, I'm kind of just leaving it there on its own and hoping no one's going to take it and that I'm going to be able to find it. I'm not going to be wandering too far. I figured right now is the best time for me to do some exploring while that time lapse is running. So, here we go. I can't record too long with this one because it's only at 30% power, and if it does get really dark, the phone is going to be what I'm going to be using to navigate my way back to the car. Something I've noticed, and I don't know if I already mentioned this, is that a part of the lake bed, which of course this is what this is, feels like it's got a bit of a soft crust on it. Your feet kind of sink in, very spongy. Let's see if I can record it here. Oh, there we go. That was a deep one. I feel kind of bad. You know, I'm leaving footprints and kind of making a mess of this here, so just that one example. I'm going to leave like that. Pull my glove back on. So, and I just realized I've committed the crime of shooting in vertical, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to landscape here in a moment. Okay, there we go. I'm in landscape now. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this more. There's surprisingly a decent number of people out here. I passed by someone shooting a reflection on a puddle back about maybe 5-6 minute walk from here. I also took some puddle reflection shots. If I can find it on the way back, which I should be able to find it since it's right on the road to get out of here. I'm going to see if I can do some... I just saw a good shot. Some reflection shots and see how those turn out. So the shot that I'm thinking of is this one right here. We've got this pinnacle, and that's the moon up there. So, of course, again, I'm limited by the fact that I only have my phone right now. I'm going to see if I can take a shot of that. Okay, so it turns out, the tufa have that crust that I'm talking about, and I kind of sank through. So I'm not going to be wonking too much on these guys because I don't want to damage them. I don't know if this shot's going to work. That one's really bright. I might do a combination exposure. So we're going to go ahead and try that. So here we are. In between the pinnacles. We're going to head up to that trail up there. Before then, I'm going to run back and pick up my camera because I don't want someone to steal it. I don't know if it's been 30 minutes yet. That's how long I set the time lapse for. got a beautiful sunset going on right now. I can just see Jupiter and Venus. I'm sorry, I was about to say Saturn. Upper center there, little bright points. What the hell is that? Is that a moth? It's loud and it's scary. I hope it's a moth. The dimmer one is Jupiter and the brighter one is Venus. I hear something crawling around. It's freaking me out. Okay, so hopefully I don't regret this. I said I was going to hike into the Pinnacles and I haven't yet. I set up another time lapse looking over west towards the sunset. There's some really pretty colors that in the final video you guys are going to see anyway, so I don't need to show you. Hopefully this isn't a mistake. I'm going to leave the GoPro here shooting the time lapse, and since it's really tiny, obviously I'm going to leave behind the backpack since that should be a little bit more obvious. Again, my hope is that the moon's going to provide enough light that I should be able to see. There's a pretty distinctive landmark here because it's not too far from the road. And there's a little boulder right there, nice and centered. That should make it fairly easy for me to spot the backpack, since the backpack is laying out flat, just there. It's not in some nooks and crannies or anything. Again, I hope no one's going to want to steal this. If I want to start getting those shots set up, I'm going to have to start walking. Because I know the time-lapse on this thing is going to be going for a while, since I'm pretty sure I set it for an hour or 40 minutes or something like that. And it's only been 10 or 15. So I'm going to go ahead and start walking. So the video is going to start getting pretty grainy now, since it's getting to be pretty dark. I've clearly made a mistake. There's not nearly as much light from the moon as I thought there was going to be. Either that or just I haven't kind of adjusted. So I definitely should have brought a headlamp. Like I said, I intend to use my phone as a lamp if I do need it. But the power on this is starting to go down too. So I gotta be really careful. I found a good spot right in between, or on the ridge of some of the towers. They look amazing. You can actually just about see Orion there. If I turn the brightness up in post, you might be able to see it. So that's going to be the first target. I'm going to be trying to do some landscape shots going over this way. It's going to probably have to be a focus stack because I have this big tower right here. In the foreground, or in the midground I should say, are those towers. And then the background should be the mountains and the stars up that way. And over this way, there's also some really pretty shots. That little speck of light there, I'm pretty sure is a little pool of water. I'm not going to go that way though. It was a little bit sketchy coming up this way as it was. And it's going to look even worse in the dark, so hopefully I don't break my neck trying to get down from these. Okay, so the fear of heights got the better of me. I decided to walk down from the ridge. My concern about there not being enough light from the moon has dissuaded. Although you cannot tell in the video. I am actually able to walk around. In fact, my shadow, I don't know if that's going to get picked up. No. This particular camera is not good enough to pick up the light. Unless maybe... no. Nothing. Well, rest assured that there's actually plenty of light for me to walk by. I can see the ground pretty clearly. I might take a photo of my shadow, because that might be something interesting. Shadow of the moonlight. I'm trying to figure out some compositions. And I can't actually think of any. I think, you know, I was trying to shoot for something like within the towers, but back where my GoPro is might actually be the best spot. And even back where my car is. Because there I have a very wide view of the pinnacles. I'm able to get a good shot. The Milky Way is roughly in the direction of, or the arch of the Milky Way is roughly where Orion is. So it's actually pretty high up in the sky. So I might not even be able to do anything with that, but we'll see what happens. For now, I'm going to have to make my way back. We'll see if I have to find the camera. Again, I'm pretty sure I left it in a spot that should be easy enough to find. So here we go. Okay, so good news is, I did find the backpack. In order for you guys to see my face, I turned on the flashlight on my phone, which again, I really shouldn't be doing. I should be saving the power for this. But again, moonlight is enough. In fact, it might even be too much for me to take good shots of the Milky Way, which is one of the things I wanted to do out here. But we're going to see what we're going to do. We've gotten this far. So far, everything's good. I'm going to try to shoot another time lapse on the DJI. I don't think anything's going to come out from it this time. I think it's just too dark for it to be able to shoot anything, really. I'm going to try to shoot some wide angles over the pinnacles, which are that direction. And Andromeda is rising almost directly above me, or behind me right now. So that's going to be something else I'm going to try to shoot. So here we go. Okay, so just so you guys see a little bit, I took an amazing photo just now with the Canon, actually. Here you go. Hopefully you guys can see. Oh, actually, there's Trona off in the distance. 7:25 right now. I just made it to the top. And from here, I want to say it's another mile or so. So I still got about 15 minutes to get to the car. Again, I told my fiance that I would be getting there around 8 o'clock. So I'm going to spend maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes, if that. I mean, after that reflection shot, I don't really think there's much I need to shoot. I'm going to be back here in a week. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head to the car, plug everything in, and call it a night. There's actually someone at the pinnacles right now when their headlights are shining on it. That might make for another good photo, but it's a shame I can't get a shot of the Milky Way. The moon's too bright. But the thing is, I didn't bring a headlamp. I didn't want to be walking back in the dark. Next week, it's going to be a full moon, because I'm going to be trying to do some nighttime shots with the Sony. I won't be able to get the Milky Way then, either, most likely. For the same reason, the moon is quite bright. So, it's a shame, but I'm honestly satisfied. That last shot was one of the best shots I think I've ever taken. It's other people I know have taken far better shots, but for what I've done, I'm really, really happy with that one. So yeah, good trip so far. I might get up early in the morning, do a run into Trona, see if I can take some pictures of the locomotives. As far as I know, they only run in the afternoons, so I'm not going to like see them moving around or anything. But I might still be able to shoot them through the fence or something. So other than that, it was a good night of astrophotography, all things considered. Again, I'm a beginner. I don't really have a lot of equipment with me. Had I been able to get an SUV that I wasn't worried would pop the tires and all that out here, and I was able to make it all the way to the pinnacles, that would have probably stayed a bit longer. And if I had the power bank, because then, you know, if I got cold or something, I could leave the time lapse running or whatever, and that wouldn't be such a big deal. But I didn't, so we'll see. You know, I would have brought a chair. That would have been something else that would have been nice. It's a little chilly. But the sweatshirt I have and the gloves that I'm wearing are doing the job. Here, I'm going to turn the screen off at least on my phone, so I don't need that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, get a reflection on the car. Not able to. Let's see. One way to confirm that I'm on at least the right path is just I'm going to head over here. And if that's a drop, I know that... Okay, yeah. So, I'm on the right path. I just wanted to make sure. What else is there to say? I don't know if I'm going to do an update, or if this is just going to be the end of the video, or if I'm going to do an update at the hotel, or once I'm home. We'll figure that out when we get to that point. Right now, the main thing I'm dreading is getting back over that sandy patch and hoping I don't fly off the freaking road and get stuck. Because the crust that I've been talking about, where my feet sink through, is awful for the car. So, when I first stopped in front of that sand patch and I pulled over, and I mentioned this before, I did almost get stuck. The front tires dug into the dirt, and I was really, really worried that I was going to get stuck. But thankfully what I was able to do is I just turned the wheel over to be perpendicular to the direction that they were dug in, and just floored it. I didn't obviously do one flat push. Revved, moved forward, revved, moved forward, revved, moved forward, and then I was able to get out of the ditch. And then I was able to drive a little bit, over the sand as far as I was able to get to the end of the gravel. So, I want to stay on the road. I do not want to end up getting stuck in that, because that crust will end up falling apart and I'm going to get stuck. And out here I don't have signal. And again, that's Trona out there. And I want to say that's another 6-7 miles. That is a long walk. I don't exactly want to do right now. So, alright. We'll see. I'll see where I catch you guys. If this is the end of the video, thank you guys for following me on this adventure. It might take a while for the Death Valley video to come out, since I was taking a long time and it takes a ton of footage and video, and I combine it with what friends take. The first Death Valley video took me like 8 months to finish. Hopefully this doesn't take that long to come out. But yeah. I'll see you guys later. Alright, well, as you can see, I've made it back to the car. It started. That's a positive. I have to plug my phone in. We're back on our way. I guess I'm gonna record this so that you guys can see if I end up getting stuck. Wouldn't that be a disaster right at the end of the trip, huh? Okay. Managed to get off that part. Hopefully, because we're going downhill, the sandy part won't be too bad. We're still gonna have to hit that at speed, because again, I do not want to get stuck. It's going to be hard to tell which part is the part that is sandy in the dark. Hopefully with the high beams I'll be able to tell, because I want to hit that at least 20 miles an hour or so. So good. this little rise. The road isn't as washboard as I thought it was, or maybe it's just because I am going a little bit faster over it. Yeah, hopefully one day I get a Jeep and then I won't have to worry, you know. I love my Honda Fit, but it is not really meant to be doing this. Where is the sandy bit? Sliding a little bit, but I'm staying roughly in the center of the road. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Almost out, almost out, almost out. Okay, we made it out. From here, I know I can make it back, so once again, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, and I'll see you when I see you.